The showrunner of the original Daredevil series, produced by Marvel Entertainment and ABC for Netflix, talks a little bit more about Daredevil Born Again, and specifically how it compares to their series. And he reveals that their series would have been more in line with Daredevil Born Again had Marvel Entertainment not taken all the money and pocketed it. So as most of you know, just recently, Marvel kind of got exposed, or I should say Marvel Entertainment, the TV division of Marvel, which was folded into Marvel Studios in 2018 and 2019 officially, but prior to that, Marvel Studios and Marvel Entertainment were two separate brands. Marvel Studios was just dealing with films, while Marvel Entertainment was everything else, including merchandise. And well, there was that disconnect, and Marvel Entertainment, they kind of put a, I guess you can call it a lockdown on the TV side of things. And that's when they started to strike all these deals with different networks, including ABC, Freeform, Hulu, and of course, Netflix. Now, in the early 2010s is when the Netflix initiative was announced by Bob Iger and Netflix, and it was like a big moment because Marvel Studios, we thought Marvel Studios was going to be involved. Everybody thought that, and then they weren't. And just recently, we found out from the head of Netflix that Marvel Entertainment was shady at best. They were 50-50 funding the series, but then Marvel Entertainment and the people in charge were pocketing the money and cutting costs on productions and rushing things out the door and not doing stunt choreography to the level it should have been, not wanting to pay for more CG, and $100 million budget suddenly turned into, well, you got 20, and the rest was just not used. Well, when it comes to Daredevil, I think it's safe to say that that was the most successful, the best looking, the most well received, but at the same time, there is a lack of Daredevil action in it. And the suit in the first season, from what we understand, they weren't even given a go-ahead really to include the official suit up until the end because they didn't want to spend money on it, which is absolutely insane. But luckily, they finally got it. So, talking about Daredevil Born Again and She-Hulk and Daredevil season 1, 2, and 3, the man that was the showrunner, Stephen S. DeKnight, talked a little bit more about this, talking about how they wish that they were afforded more. And he specifically said the reason that Daredevil didn't do acrobatics, the reason he wasn't super agile, the reason that they had to do episodes where Daredevil was more or less in like 3 locations and just chatting with people, was because of financial issues. They weren't given money. And if they had the money, they would have done everything that they're doing with Daredevil Born Again. More action, more acrobatics, Daredevil being more comic-like, moving more comic-like. But the money just wasn't there. Nobody wanted to add extra money because, hey, they know it was going to disappear and not be used on the product. And then he did try to clarify this, and he added, and I quote, "Just to be clear, in no way, shape, or form were my comments regarding Daredevil's a knock against Netflix. It was merely explaining that I would have used CGI to enhance the fight, like in Born Again, if the budget had been larger." That's not to say we didn't have money to make the show we wanted to make, but it was tight. But it always is. Also, it's not a comment on Born Again. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I have loved the clips that I have, and I'm looking forward to it. End quote. Okay, so providing a little bit more context, obviously, when you're given a budget, you gotta stay within it. And when people go over that budget, it becomes very problematic to the higher-ups. And just think about it. If they're cutting your budget when you have a vision, and you're told, okay, you guys got X amount of money, and suddenly you're planning the entire thing as a showrunner and working with the directors and the stunt coordinators and the costume designers to get it done, and then they come to you and go, so we got to cut 50-60% of that budget. What are you supposed to do, you know? And we know that this largely affected the Defender series. That was really the one that was the most affected, along with Iron Fist, as they were the ones that were last produced, and they siphoned a lot of money out of them, and they hired people like Scott Buck, who are in Hollywood notorious for being the get it done fast, get it done cheap type of person. And you can see the end result. And what he's saying here is honestly, it's nothing new. You know, we've known about this, but you got to think about how money was mismanaged. For example, a season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cost as much as any season of anything that they did on Netflix. Now, go look at what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was able to pull off consistently. Go look at the season with Ghost Rider. Everything with Ghost Rider looks infinitely superior to anything special effects wise in the Netflix series because of the use of money and how it was managed, and the fact that ABC Disney specifically still had a shot and could make some calls in regards to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is why it was supposed to end at season 5, but they extended it for additional seasons because it was good revenue maker. So this kind of tells you just how the entertainment division under Netflix was really robbing everybody. And that's unfortunate, you know, but it's the end result. And it makes me think that Daredevil, as much as I love it, and the original 3 seasons are my #1 comic book TV series of all time, it makes me think of how much better it could have been had they been given that money that they thought they had. And what could Daredevil have been doing? And how cool could Iron Fist have been? And Jessica Jones probably could have had some more of her comic book elements, and, you know, we could have had more, just more in general. But ultimately, we didn't. And it is what it is. Let's hope that the future turns out better for all the Defenders. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will. And if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.